Good Friday evening to 11 Alive weather impact meteorologist Melissa Noor. We're looking ahead to this accumulating snow on the way for the weekend, and our weather impact alert is not just for the snow, it's also for prolonged cold. In fact, we could spend about 60 hours over the weekend at or below freezing. So a lot of details to unpack here. And what we're going to be doing through the overnight into tomorrow is that we're going to be giving you some extra updates here on 11 Alive Plus and kind of giving you in the know what you need to know about this winter weather moving in. So number one, it's the cold air. We're going to see temperatures at or below freezing through the weekend and through Monday morning. Number two, it's the snow. We're going to dive a lot into that snow because that's the near-term impact that's going to be bigger than let's just avoid spending a few hours outdoors. That's going to pose an impact to driving conditions and closures and delays for the weekend and even into Monday. And then on Sunday, with colder air coming in behind this, there's going to be some refreezing. So we're going to break all this down coming up for you. And I'm nursing my voice over here. So we're doing a little hot water on the side at the same time. Okay, so big picture, winter alerts on the map. What you see here, you see colors in pink, colors in purple. The pink colors are the winter storm warnings, the purple colors are the winter weather advisories. And you can see big picture, we've got this huge chunk of real estate from kind of lower, the eastern shore of southern Maryland to Norfolk, the Outer Banks, down to Charleston, the low country of South Carolina, and then all the way up into the Appalachians. Then on the other side of the mountains, some winter weather advisories where lesser snow amounts are likely. But here in metro Atlanta, it's kind of this Cherokee, Cobb, Fulton, Clayton, Henry County, and points east in the winter storm warning. And then in West Georgia, it's a winter weather advisory where lighter snowfall amounts are going to be possible over the weekend. We're actually seeing the beginnings of this low pressure system take shape. I know it doesn't look like much on radar. Let me put things through the last 4 hours so you can see it a little bit clearer. And I'm going to take the satellite off so we can see this kind of area where it's trying to pivot some snow counterclockwise around it. So we're watching that moisture increasing. We first saw the cloud cover building in early this afternoon. And now we're watching radar and this area, which appears to be some snow beginning to break out on radar. This is the Huntsville high top radar. And I think we are actually getting some flurries reaching the ground at this point. I want to pull up the camera. It's really hard to see, but this is Lookout Mountain over by Dade and Walker counties. And so this is overlooking the city of Chattanooga. And I know it's difficult to see, but we're watching to see, are we seeing stuff in front of the camera blocking the view? At this point, I don't quite yet, but just across the state line, we're seeing that the snow is starting to come down. You can see here on radar, the low is going to transfer its energy to the coast. As it does so, we see that snow wrapping around it overnight tonight through tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow afternoon and evening, the snow is pulling away. So the question is, how much snow are we going to see? I'm going to show you a couple different models. This is the HER model, and there will be a very sharp cutoff between who gets 2 inches of snow and who doesn't see much snow of any as we look at tomorrow. And this model has that cutoff kind of right here through that 75 corridor between who gets something and who gets pretty much nothing. It's a lock for eastern Georgia to see at least 3 to 5 inches of snowfall. Some areas could see more than that with some banding of snow likely. This is the graph model. This is our in-house model. And it also shows a sharp cutoff, but it's a little further east. So it has that sharp cutoff through kind of Cherokee and northern Fulton County and into Henry County. So there's some like 20 miles difference in these models. And that could be the difference between in downtown Atlanta, us getting 3 inches of snow or getting no snow. So it's a very sharp cutoff with this particular event that we're expecting. Eastern Georgia is going to see pretty significant snowfall. So how much snow in total? Well, the western side of Georgia, less than an inch is expected. This area right in here, if you can see this other blue color, it's a little hard to see, but hopefully the camera's making it out okay. 1 to 3 inches. That includes the heart of Atlanta. And then through upper Gwinnett County, Forsyth County, Athens, and points north and east of that, 3 to 5 inches. And a large 6-inch plus area on the state line and into the Carolinas as well. So I do think we could see some isolated 6-inch totals in East Georgia in that dark blue polygon. We're going to see some banding features setting up tomorrow morning where the snow rates are really heavy. And I also want to talk about the type of snow that we're expecting. There's so much to break down in this extended discussion here. But what I need you to know and take away from this is that I know the ground temperatures are really warm right now. They're going to be getting a lot colder by first thing tomorrow morning. So initially when that snow comes down, like early tonight, the roads are going to be okay. But sunrise and after, as we keep seeing the snow coming down, the roads are going to turn incredibly dangerous to be driving on, especially if you have never driven in snow before. You just do not want to risk it if you've never done it. Now, they've been brining a lot of the roadways, but brine, you know, it's going to be effective at the temperatures we're at. But when the snow comes down too quick, it's overcoming, it's going to overtake any brine and warmer temperatures on the roadways. So I do expect pretty big road impacts in that eastern Georgia territory. So temperatures right now, we made it all the way to 54 this afternoon. So it was actually a pretty nice day. I walked the dog. It was like sunny this morning, came into work, the clouds are building in. And it was pretty nice. And now we're seeing the temperatures starting to fall in far north Georgia. And as the moisture is moving in, it's going to help force those temperatures to go down lower as we go through evaporational cooling. That is where our temperature's up here, the dew point's right there. We got to get saturated for it to snow. So we have to bring down the temperature and bring up the dew point for it to snow. Well, the current temperature in Atlanta, I'll pull it up right now. It's 47, the dew point's 25. We got to bring this number down into the 30s and bring that up into the 30s for it to snow. And then as the temperatures cool off overnight in general, we will see that snow breaking out. So when is it going to happen? Well, this evening, already before midnight, as we cool things down in far north Georgia, we could start to see some of those first flakes flying. So you can see there between now and midnight, you know, some snow bursts, some snow showers, some flurries, all get going up there. But then watch this forecast track between midnight and 5 in the morning. Bam, snow breaking out. And then tomorrow morning, I think a good 4-hour window from 7 to 11, we're gonna have hammer time, okay? What I mean by that is some banding features setting up. You can see one of them right here on the radar where it's darker. And this is where we're picking up those snow rates of over an inch an hour in some spots, okay? When you get to that amount, over an inch an hour for snowfall, and sometimes 2 inches an hour, we're probably not going to have 3 inches an hour, but when you get those heavier snow rates, it just turns the roads into a mess. So we're going to watch that window tomorrow morning, especially east of Atlanta, east of the perimeter, where the snow is going to be consistent. It's coming down pretty good. Second week in a row with areas in East Georgia dealing with this. So that'll be tomorrow morning. Then in the afternoon, we're going to see the snow pivoting out of here from north to south. So places like Blairsville will dry out before Athens, and then Eatonton. And then once it clears out, those skies will start to clear and even colder air moves in behind it. So we're in the 20s the whole day tomorrow as the snow's coming down. Then we drop down to the teens by Sunday morning. Here's another model. This is the HER model. It has the snow to no snow demarcation line a little bit further west. So you can see here, it also has by midnight, 2 a.m., some of those snow showers breaking out, then widespread snow first thing tomorrow morning. It has it as far west as Marietta and about the airport. That's tomorrow morning. In the afternoon, it pivots that snow east by 2, and then it is clearing that snowfall out and again, clearing the skies out and bringing in the cold air behind it. So bottom line, what you need to take away from this is it is going to be a cold weekend, but that snow tomorrow morning is going to be more than just, hey, there's some flurries or light snow showers. There could be a steady swath of snowfall with banding features in the middle of that, and that could lead to more significant impacts on roadways. And even once the snow clears out, the winds are going to pick up, so we could have close to ground blizzard conditions late tomorrow afternoon. It'll reduce the visibility. It's a powdery snow. It's going to blow it around. And we're going to see, several inches of snow on the ground to be blown around. So that could be a possibility tomorrow as we head into the afternoon. So high chance of hazardous roads. I put high because it depends on where you are. If you're in eastern Georgia, it's very high. The roads are not good. The very big impact from the snow. Power outages low, that would come from the wind gusts tomorrow afternoon, but the snow, because it's a powdery dry snow, is not going to be sticking to the power lines. It is one of those powdery snows. It's not the typical southern snow. Our typical southern snow here in Georgia falls with like 34 degrees, and you get 5 to 8 inches of snow for every 1 inch of water, and you can mash that into a snowball, no problem. Well, in this case, it's going to be a crunchy snow, a powdery snow, and it's not going to stick. It's going to break apart if you try to form it into a snowball, but it's not going to stick to the power line. So low chance of power outages, that's good, but closures high. A lot of things are closing for tomorrow, and I think if we still have snow on the ground Sunday morning like I expect, I think a lot of places that have snow tomorrow will be closed on Sunday still. Wind gusts, let's talk about these. There's this low that is forming on the coast, right? I showed you earlier. It's moving overhead tonight, then it moves to the coast and it transfers its end to the coast. It's gonna rapidly strengthen in something we call bombogenesis, when the pressure drops at least 24 millibars in a 24-hour period. We call it a bomb cyclone, okay? So this bomb cyclone is going to strengthen, and as it does so, there's a bigger pressure gradient or difference in the pressure levels between this low and the high pressure cold air that's moving in behind it. So when we have a tighter gradient, the winds are a lot stronger. They're trying to balance out the atmosphere, equalize the atmosphere. So we'll see some pretty strong gusty winds as we head through the day tomorrow. Wind gusts in the morning around 20-25 miles an hour, but as we get into the afternoon and that snow is exiting, the winds are really cranking up. We're talking wind gusts easily 30-35 miles an hour. Some of these wind gusts could be 40 miles an hour. The definition of a blizzard is you need blowing snow. You don't have to have new snow falling. You have to have blowing snow. You have to have wind gusts consistently 35 miles an hour for a 3-hour window, and consistently visibility of a quarter mile or less for a 3-hour window. Winds, 12 o'clock, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, that's a pretty good window of the winds. The question's going to be, do we have the snow blowing around enough and reducing the visibility enough? So I would say, regardless, it's going to be doing a number on those driving conditions where we have enough snow on the ground that is all blowing around, where you only end up with a little coating of snow. It's not the end of the world because it's going to be windy, right? But you don't have as much snow on the ground. But we have 2 inches of snow, 3 inches of snow, and the winds blowing. It's going to be a gnarly afternoon for trying to drive. Those winds will start to calm down on Sunday morning, but they're still elevated. By Sunday afternoon, they should really start calming down, but that creates the wind chill effect. So let's talk about those wind chills. Tonight, colder air moving in. Temperatures drop into the 20s by tomorrow morning. We will start to see gusty winds building in tonight, but I think they'll be even gustier tomorrow. Snow showers develop, and then it becomes widespread snow in the morning. It tapers off in the afternoon. Temperatures are in the 20s, wind chills in the teens for Saturday. Roads, slick, icy, snow covered. Sunday, snow's out of here, extreme cold. Roads where you get snow are still very treacherous and hazardous. We will see sunshine returning. That's going to help areas in the sun, especially blacktop, asphalt surfaces, melt away that snowfall. But in places where you're in the shade, you're still dealing with ice out there Monday morning as well. So a lot to dive into this week. And let's talk more about the cold. We first issued our weather impact alert because of the cold temperatures. We're expecting at least 60 hours or more this weekend at or below freezing. And for Sunday morning, that'll be the coldest of the bunch. We have an extreme cold warning, wind chills -0, in the negatives, below 0, 0 to -10 for Sunday morning as we look at North Georgia. So a lot of cold coming this weekend. 23 for tomorrow morning, climbing up to 28. It's really not a climb. Temperatures are pretty steady throughout the day tomorrow, and honestly, we'll probably see our high temperature around like 8 in the morning. Well, The high's at midnight tonight, but our daytime high temperature around 8 in the morning. Then it falls throughout the day tomorrow. Sunday morning, 14, wind chill -1. Sunday afternoon, briefly above freezing here in Atlanta, not for long. We're back to the icebox on Monday. So again, tomorrow, snow in the morning, windy conditions in the afternoon. Notice there is no climb in the temperatures. The high of the day is at midnight. We're dropping through the 20s as we head throughout the day. Those wind chills dropping to 10 degrees. Really, they'll be in the teens the whole afternoon because of how windy things are. So we've got our weather impact alert this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, 14 in the morning, returning to sunshine in the afternoon. Couple of us pop above freezing briefly for a couple of hours. It's not for very long. I want you to check on your pipes Sunday, and I want you to check on them Sunday night and Monday morning, okay? We will be below freezing tonight, all day tomorrow through Sunday morning. Check on them Sunday morning, please. If your pipes burst in 2022, December, check on your pipes Sunday morning, okay? Check on them again Sunday evening. You might get a little thawing in Sunday afternoon. You want to make sure they're not refreezing again. 23 on Monday, 49 on Monday afternoon. Late next week, a little milder setup. Some 50s on the way with some rain showers Wednesday and Thursday. Live radar coming up right after this, and we'll be back here in about 10 minutes at the bottom of the hour. At the top of the hour, rather, with another extended update on what we're expecting. Hey there, if you're popping on, I think I just moved my camera. So we're doing an update on 11 Alive Plus here. I'll move the camera a little bit more so you can see me. I don't think I've done a Facebook Live in a few years, but I'm going to take you behind the scenes with me because I'm about to do an update on 11 Alive Plus. We've got snow coming in tonight and tomorrow and a lot to talk about. In fact, this big bomb cyclone thing that's going to be rapidly strengthening, it could bring close to blizzard conditions to parts of North Georgia by tomorrow afternoon. So we're going to hop on over to the Plus and you're going to see me from a different angle, like over here covering this. Let's see if I can move it angled a little bit so you can see a little bit better what I'm pointing at. There we go. Look at this great light stand Danielle Moss put in here. She's so fabulous. Okay, all right, here we go. I think we put the mic on, yep. It is 8 o'clock here. I'm meteorologist Melissa Knorr with your update on this weekend's winter weather headed in. And what you really need to know is we're tracking multiple different threats over the weekend. We're tracking the risk of snowfall coming in tomorrow morning. We are tracking frigid temperatures and refreezing likely with how cold the temperatures are going to be as we head throughout the weekend. You can see a big picture on the map. We've got in pink our winter storm warnings. Our winter storm warnings on the map right now. That's for this inner Atlanta part, points east in the pink color, and then West Georgia in a winter weather advisory. And that's because we expect the biggest accumulating snowfall in East Georgia versus West Georgia. So you'll see the more significant impacts on roadways and all of that. So big picture satellite radar. I've got a ring light on here and I'm just going to turn down the intensity of it so it's not reflecting too much on this. See if I can turn down the intensity. That's a little bit better. Now we can see better. Okay, so this is a low that's developing right now, and we've actually got a little bit of snow in, you okay, Chris? Yeah, I think it's working. Okay. Thank you. Chris is coming in. Little bit of snow coming into northwestern Georgia, and we've been watching this on radar. And we're actually seeing now, this is the radar in Huntsville, Alabama, the high top radar. And you see where we're getting this kind of heavy feature. That's a little bit of snow that is starting to come down. I've been watching our camera on Lookout Mountain. It's kind of hard to see. We're waiting to see if we can see any of those snow flurries. But this low, which doesn't look like much now, is going to be transferring its energy to the coast and rapidly strengthening. We call this a bomb cyclone when the pressure on it bombs out or drops 24 millibars or more in a 24-hour window. That's bombogenesis. So this thing's becoming a big coastal storm, and as it rapidly strengthens, it picks up the winds as the snow is clearing out. So there's a lot of different facets to this forecast over the weekend. The first facet is, of course, the snow that we're expecting, and then the prolonged cold that starts during the snow and keeps going through the end of the weekend. So how much snow are we talking about? Here's the interesting part. We know, we have high confidence that we're going to get pretty significant snow in East Georgia. We're talking 3 to 5 inches. Some spots could see 6 inches of snow in a few locations. But in the metro, there's going to be a really sharp demarcation line between who sees 2 inches of snow and who sees like no snow out there. So there's going to be a big difference. Are we losing the...
No, the halo's making reflection.
Oh, okay. I thought I turned it off. Thank you. You can just push down and it should turn it off altogether. Thank you. I had a ring light on. We're doing a Facebook Live at the same time to try to reach people where they are. So there's going to be a sharp difference between who sees a couple of inches of snow and who sees like no snow at all. So this is our HER model, and this shows you that changeover from like 2 inches of snow to no snow is happening right here in the heart of Atlanta. Well, let me show you a different model. This is our in-house graph model, and this has that changeover from no snow to about 2 inches of snow on the eastern side of the metro. So it's going to be a really fine, sharp cutoff in a matter of 20 miles or so, going from, yeah, you got like a couple inches of snow on the ground to, I just got a dusting or so. So areas that are east of Atlanta going to see this steady snowfall developing through tomorrow morning. Areas on the west side, some flurries, few snow showers, few bursts will lead to a coating less than an inch, but those amounts will be much greater to the east. And this is our hand-drawn snow map. So we've actually looked over multiple different models. We've looked over different iterations of models, multiple days in a row, and we come up with our best guess of, okay, how much snow could we actually end up with? And what's really important to talk about with this is that this is a very powdery snow. So this is not a typical snow ratio that we talk about here in Georgia. We often see a very wet snow in Georgia where it's like 34 degrees as it's snowing and it is a very wet, heavy snow. You could call it heart attack snow if you're trying to shovel several inches of it, but if you're just trying to use it to like pack a snowball or make a snowman, you can do that. This snow though, because it's falling when temperatures are in the mid and upper 20s, our ratio is much higher. What that means is we could end up seeing 12 to 13 maybe inches of snow for every 1 inch of water equivalency. And for that reason, it's a powdery snow. It's going to be susceptible to blow around in those breezy winds. And it also means you can't really use it to make the snowman like you want to. You can try, your kids can try, but as you try to, it's kind of crunchy. As you try to crunch it together, it doesn't pack well. It's pretty crunchy and it breaks apart. Okay, so how much snow? 1 to 3 inches here in the heart of the metro, 3 to 5 out near Athens, northern Gwinnett County, Hall County, Gainesville, Lumpkin County, Dahlonega, and there will be some 6-inch totals closer to that South Carolina state line. In fact, northeast Georgia, as you try to climb up in terrain elevation, we could see a lot more 6-inch totals, okay? Timeline, here's the graph model. Couple flurries coming in this evening, snow showers developing by midnight tonight, then we see them working their way south in the overnight. So by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, we have a pretty widespread area of snow developing. Once it starts, again, it's mainly near and east of 75. It could be a good 4 to 6 hour window that it's snowing at your house. Here's 11:30 showing that snow coming down to the east. What you can also see in this model, you see those deeper blue colors? A lot of our different models have been showing some banding features setting up tomorrow morning. We talk about banding when we have hurricanes and stuff. Well, snow banding, that can really thump some snow. We're talking snow rates that could be over 1 inch an hour. So we do expect some of that heavy snow to break out, especially between Gainesville and Athens and Clayton. This whole area right in here, east of the inner metro, could be dealing with some of those banding features tomorrow morning to where even if roads have been treated, this snow's coming down good enough to where road treatments are not helping much. You got to re-scrape and plow the roads, which takes a long time. Then you have to throw more salt down. So even the treated roads are going to be messy in East Georgia tomorrow morning. It's tapering off though in the afternoon. So it's a good 6 hour window of steady snowfall in a lot of places. Then it tapers off and it moves through the Carolinas to the coast. So you can see here tomorrow at 3, it's done on the north side of the metro. We still have a little bit of that snow coming down Athens and Covington and Eatonton, and then it's winding down altogether as we look at sunset in the evening. Then the cold follows, and we drop those temperatures down to the mid-teens by Sunday morning. We clear the skies out, and it is going to be an ice box outside Sunday morning, very frigid cold. So impact from the snow, high impact on the roads. Now, if you're in East Georgia, the impact is very high, okay? If you're in the inner metro, the impact is high, but if you're in East Georgia, it's going to be very high. Power outages is low. It's not going to be very high on the scale. The snow is such a dry snow, a powdery snow. It doesn't stick on the power lines the same way a wet snow does. So we're just talking about the wind gusts causing power outages. So it should be pretty sporadic. I don't think it's a widespread issue. It's not something where you got to stock up the candles and the generators and all that as much like last weekend people were worried about. Closures and delays very high. A lot of things are already closing for tomorrow morning. I would expect areas that do see a couple of inches of snow on the ground, things are still closed on Sunday. That means church services and Monday as well, because you have to think about it. We do have sunshine coming out Sunday, but can we melt all the road surfaces? Well, it's only 34 degrees on Sunday afternoon, so that's not a whole lot of above freezing temperatures to fully melt away all the snow if you have several inches of it. Wind gusts. Breezy tomorrow morning. dropping the wind chills down to the teens, about 10 degrees tomorrow morning. Then we go into the afternoon, and that low is rapidly deepening and strengthening as it hits that warm Gulf Stream water off the coast. And when we see that happening, it increases the pressure gradient and the pressure gradient force. And so we see these strong winds developing. So in the afternoon on Saturday, we can have wind gusts for a good 5-hour period or so that are easily 35 miles an hour. Some of them could be 40 miles an hour. The higher elevations in the North Georgia mountains, some of those wind gusts could be even higher than that. So because we're expecting several inches of snow and then the winds, that could additionally blow the snow around. That means in the late afternoon, low visibility on the roads if you've got snow blowing around. Saturday evening, 9 o'clock, still some wind gusts around 30 miles an hour, and they will still be gusting around 20 miles an hour first thing on Sunday morning, keeping the wind chills below zero. So we got a lot to talk about for the weekend. So just to kind of recap here, tonight, colder air is moving in, snow showers are developing. The winds really crank up tomorrow. We have snow that is pretty widespread in East Georgia for the morning half of the day. It will taper off in the afternoon. Even as it tapers off, the winds are picking up, blowing a lot of that snow around. It's not just going to stick on the ground and be there. I think because it's so fine and powdery, it gets picked up by the winds a lot easier. So tomorrow afternoon, blustery with blowing snow possible. Roads are still slick and snow covered and treacherous in the afternoon for areas that do see several inches of snow. And then Sunday, it's all about this, the brutal cold. Extreme cold warning. We don't see these very often in North Georgia. We typically see, cold weather advisories, which replace the wind chill advisories that we used to have, and they changed what the alerts are called last year. But for us to get these extreme cold warnings, we have to have high confidence that the wind chill is going to drop below zero here in Atlanta. And we see that. Okay, we see here's the forecast feels like temperatures for Sunday morning. -1 for Atlanta, -4 for Duluth, 10 below for Blairsville. So there's going to be really cold air around on Sunday morning, and it's the whole weekend that's cold. And that's why we initially issued this weather impact alert, was for the cold. We expected 60 or more hours this weekend at or below the freezing mark from tonight, okay, as the temperatures are dropping through the day tomorrow. For a lot of us through the day on Sunday, through Monday morning. So that's easily 60 or more hours. Now, a few of us on Sunday afternoon may briefly climb above freezing, but then we're right back in the icebox again Sunday evening and overnight. So tomorrow morning, 20s. I know this says 28 in the afternoon. That's actually going to be like first thing in the morning, 28, and then it drops to 23. And I'll show you the meteogram on that in a second. Sunday morning down to 14, wind chill -1. For areas in East Georgia that get a fresh snowpack on the ground, you could be 9 degrees on Sunday morning easily. Snow, it's like an ice box at night, a refrigerator. So when we have a fresh snowpack on the ground, it's like a good fresh snowpack, not just like, oh, we got a ½ inch. Like if you have several inches of snow on the ground, it's like an ice box, so you can be 5 degrees colder than the models show. Sunday afternoon, briefly above freezing here in Atlanta, wind chill still in the 20s. So tomorrow we have coverage starting at 4 o'clock right here on 11 Alive Plus. We'll have updates first thing in the morning before the sun even pops up, and then we'll be on air starting at 6 a.m. through the duration of this event, tracking the snow moving through North Georgia and the impacts that it's playing on the road. So again, please be safe tomorrow. We recommend not driving if you are east of Atlanta, where we're expecting the most snowfall. And then the cold really settles in. So for Sunday, we bring back sunshine. That's the good news, but it's going to be a cold one out there. Check on your pipes. I want you to check on your pipes Sunday morning, see how they're doing. Thaw them out if they need to thaw out. Check on them again Sunday evening. Make sure they're prepared for the night. Molly Oak today did a story, our reporter Molly Oak, on how you can protect those pipes by insulating them, wrapping something around them to keep the cold out and keep the warm in. If you notice your pipes starting to freeze up a bit, like we have a side attic at my house, and that's where the pipes burst 3 years ago. If you got a side attic, open the door. It's the same thing with opening the cupboards at your house. Under the sink that's on an exterior wall, if that's where your pipes typically freeze as it gets to the coldest days. Monday morning as well, 23 degrees, check on those pipes, and then Monday afternoon 49, so that's good. And then from there we get better through the week with temperatures in the 50s. So we'll have another update coming up in about 15 minutes at the bottom of the hour here on 11 Alive Plus. What you're going to see right after this are graphics, looping graphics of the timeline, what we're expecting for tomorrow, that winter storm warning, and we'll see you back here at 8:30. It is 8:30 on this Friday evening, anticipating a winter storm to impact North Georgia overnight in through tomorrow. And you know, this is exciting for kids because it's snow. It's not freezing rain, it's not sleet, it is snow, but it is going to pose some pretty decent impacts as we head through the morning hours tomorrow and even into the afternoon as the snow winds down because of the gusty winds that we're going to be dealing with in the wake of the snowfall. Big picture, you see a large chunk of territory on the map lit up in these winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories. The winter storm warnings are in pink, the winter weather advisories are in purple. And you know, for us, this is a shot of snow tomorrow morning. And starting tonight, really, but it's primarily tomorrow morning when we see most of the accumulations adding up. And as we get into the afternoon, that snow is tapering off. So it's not a huge window of time when we're tracking snow, but I mean, it's a good 6 hours of accumulation for a lot of folks in East Georgia. Right now on radar, what are we looking at? Well, we're watching this low that is going to be moving to the coast and then strengthening rapidly. And as it strengthens rapidly, it cranks up the winds and this thing becomes a pretty powerful storm, but it's in its infancy right now. So we see a little bit of snow breaking out in northwest Georgia. I do have some, you know, I don't want to call it ground truth, but essentially ground truth on my radar from some storm spotters that are up there in northwest Georgia already reporting that some of the snow is reaching the ground. So that includes Chattanooga. And that also includes in Dade County. As of a half an hour ago, 7:56, we had some snow reports there, and we've got snow reports from Chattanooga as well. So this snow is actually reaching the ground. That is just north of our viewing area. So you can see more of those snow showers developing this evening. And then really, it's an area of widespread snow developing by first thing on Saturday morning near and east of I-75. So this will be a window of time when we see a pretty good coverage of snow. And then where the drier air is building in, we're going to have some snow showers building through West Georgia, but likely not widespread snow for 3 hours straight. That snow transfers. You could kind of see that counterclockwise swirl there on forecast track. That's the low pivoting towards the coastline. A little bit of banding feature setting up there. But this is 4 o'clock. Snow starting to taper off and then fully tapering off by sunset tomorrow evening as the frigid cold settles in. So it is going to be a morning tomorrow when we're seeing this sharp difference between who's getting snow and it's accumulating and it's thumping outside and who's not seeing much snow at all. And models differ a little bit on where that snow to no snow line is going to be. Her model has it kind of right here through the 75 corridor. Our in-house graph model has it a little further east in the northern suburbs, but you know, it's got some good snowfall totals of 2 to 4 inches there through the eastern suburbs of the metro, and then some of those higher amounts in northeast Georgia. So we're pretty locked into this more significant snowfall across northeast Georgia, kind of down to here. These will be some pretty decent snowfall amounts in Athens and then lesser amounts here in metro Atlanta. So here's our hand-drawn snow map where we just see snow showers. It's less than an inch of snow, 1 to 3 inches here on the eastern side of the metro. And then as you get into the really far suburbs through Fayette and northern Gwinnett and out towards Barrow County, in Jackson County, we end up with 3 to 5 inches. Locally, could be a little higher than that, and then 6 inches plus for northeast corner of the state near Rabun, Stevens counties, and such. So there will be some, you know, areas that get 3 to 5 inches of snow. That's a bigger impact than just an inch of snow. If you get an inch of snow, it's minor road impacts. The ground temperatures will be cold, so there will be big impacts in that respect where it stays slick and snow covered if you don't have treatment crews coming around. But where it is more than 3 inches, you're talking about not just your immediate impact with the snow coming down, but you're stuck with it for a couple of days there. All right, forecast track. Some flurries, some few snow bursts already coming in between now and midnight tonight in far north Georgia. Then we see the snow developing as we work past that midnight hour, and then by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, it's pretty widespread near and east of Atlanta. So there's a window tomorrow morning from sunup to noon when we see fairly widespread snow all across that eastern half of the state. So pretty widespread snow at that point. 11:30 tomorrow morning, still through eastern Georgia. We're beginning to dry out in these northwestern counties, and you can see that snow pivoting out of here for the afternoon. So 3 o'clock, snow still coming down in Athens and Eatonton, but dry at that point up in Gwinnett County, up in Barrow County, and up towards Gainesville as well, and Hall County. And then by 9 o'clock, we are clear everywhere. And then really the cold settles in after that in a big way. But we'll also be tracking these winds throughout the day. And this is a very fine powdery snow that we're expecting. And why does that matter? Well, it means it's kind of gets tossed in the wind a lot easier. So we're going to have not just snow falling, but snow blowing around at the end of the day tomorrow because of these winds that we'll be picking up. So you can see here 7:30 in the morning, gusty winds gusting to 25 miles an hour. Whoo, they pick up in a big way. I'm going to take that back to lunchtime. By lunchtime, we're gusting the western half of the area above 35 miles an hour. And then throughout the whole afternoon, we have those really strong wind gusts. We're talking wind gusts around 40 miles an hour through Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, and then we see the winds coming down, I mean, ever so slightly through the overnight. And then first thing on Sunday morning, you can see still wind gusts of 25 miles an hour. And then finally by Sunday, the end of the afternoon, seeing them calming down a little bit. So that's going to create a wind chill effect. It's also going to blow around some of that finer powdery snow out there as well. So for tonight, cold air is moving in, the temperatures are dropping, snow showers are developing. That snow shower action becomes more widespread by tomorrow morning near and east of Atlanta. Then it will taper off in the afternoon. As the snow tapers off, we are not done with snow impacting us because the winds continue to increase incrementally throughout the morning and afternoon. That blows the snow around. It keeps the wind chills only in the teens, and roadways are big time impacted. Roadways are big time impacted. Sunday, anything left on the ground, rock solid Sunday morning, icy, slick, slushy, snow covered, whatever you want to call it. Not slushy as much. It's going to be pretty hard. Rock solid hard. Extreme cold warning. Wind chill below 0. And then we do see sunshine, but we don't climb much above freezing. So although some melting will get underway on Sunday afternoon, we got more melting to go, I think, in East Georgia. Extreme cold warning, that's for Sunday morning. Those wind chills will be dropping down 0 to -10. 0 to -10. So what you need to think about this weekend, wind chills are in the teens all day tomorrow. They're in the negative Sunday morning, and then Sunday afternoon they're back in the 20s. But what you need to think about are covering your body's extremities when you're going outside to play in the snow. That means hats and scarves and ear warmers and gloves and all of that, and 2 pairs of socks, if not more, maybe more, because the wind's going to cut right through you. So if kids want to play outside, I would tell you that while it's snowing, first thing in the morning is the time to play outside. Because once we get to midday and beyond, the winds pick up a lot more and it blows the snow around and it keeps the wind chills cold. So I almost think tomorrow morning's a better time to play outside than in the afternoon. But bottom line, stay warm this weekend. And not just that, check on your pipes. We're not going to climb above freezing tomorrow afternoon. In fact, I will go hour by hour with you and talk about the temperatures. This is a good graphic to show you. 8:30 Friday, we're dropping. Let's push it out. Whoops, we went too far. Saturday morning, 6 o'clock. Here we go. Mid and upper 20s, teens in the North Georgia mountains. Saturday noon, mid 20s, teens in the North Georgia mountains. Saturday, 6 o'clock, low 20s, teens in the North Georgia mountains. Sunday morning, teens and single digits. Sunday afternoon, I mean, okay, woo, 33. It's going to be very little melting. So with that many hours this weekend expected to stay at or below freezing, check on your pipes. Check on them Sunday morning, check on them again Sunday afternoon, check on them Monday morning as well. If you notice them starting to freeze, you got to thaw them out so they don't freeze to the point of bursting. And if you're going to be leaving your house this weekend and escaping to somewhere warmer, turn the water off, drain the water out of the lines. That way your pipes, if they freeze, there's not water in them, so it's not an issue. So, with all that being said, we've issued a weather impact alert for the cold and the snow coming in. 28 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow morning, meteorologist Nicole Hartford and meteorologist Tagli McNeil will be walking you through that snow coming down, where we're seeing the banding features, and we have team coverage tracking the roads and the conditions outside, teams in Athens, teams here in the metro, watching all of those impacts for you. The snow is going to clear out, the cold settles in. Sunday morning will be an ice box outside. Very blustery and cold, and then Sunday afternoon 34 degrees. Back to the icebox Monday, and then rebounding to the 40s by Monday afternoon. So there will probably be impacts Sunday morning for church services or any activities ongoing. And then Monday as well. I expect in East Georgia, we're probably still dealing with school closures on Monday because of leftover snowfall from this weekend. You're going to see live looping radar and forecast track coming up right next. Then at the top of the hour, come back on 11 Alive Plus. We'll be back here with another live extended update on what we expect to transpire through the weekend.
Good Friday evening, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. We have been keeping you posted all through the evening hours tonight with extended weather updates at the top and bottom of each hour. Melissa Nord had you for the past couple of hours. I'm going to be with you for the rest of the evening hours up to our 11 o'clock newscast. We will have Nicole Hartford in during the overnight hours, also doing extended weather updates as we're watching this snow that's going to be pushing in from the north, moving down closer to the metro area during the overnight hours. And she and Chesley and I will be teaming up for our newscast beginning at 6 a.m. on Saturday. The entire 11 Alive Weather Impact Team will be with you throughout the day tomorrow for the duration of this storm, streaming here on 11 Alive Plus as well as on our air coverage as well through the duration of this storm. And the National Weather Service, as you know, we've been talking about this a lot, but earlier today they extended the winter storm warning to include the metro Atlanta area. So really what we're thinking, there are going to be differing amounts of snow over different parts of metro Atlanta and North Georgia. And we've really been trying to be specific with our messaging since we've been covering this storm really for the past few days leading up to this weekend. But that messaging has been that not everybody is going to get the same amount of snow. All along, we've been thinking that Northeast Georgia would be getting the higher amounts, lower amounts over to the west of us. And where we do have these counties colored in pink, that's where there is a winter storm warning in effect. That includes metro Atlanta to the north, also northeast, east, and down to the south and east. These are the areas where we think we're going to be getting some accumulations. And the accumulations in Atlanta are going to be different than the accumulations that happen here up in Northeast Georgia. Also, over to the west of us, there is a winter weather advisory, meaning winter weather conditions are possible there, but the impacts are going to be lower. Now, we're not expecting much accumulation over on the west side. There could be some localized areas that pick up around an inch or so. This system may pick up some bands of snow where you might have one block that gets a good amount of snow and the next block over doesn't get much at all. So West Georgia, lower impacts. Metro Atlanta, that's where we start getting up to maybe 1 to maybe even 3 inches of snow as you go from the western metro to the northeast metro. And then Gwinnett County, Barrow County, Clark County, Hall County, that line up to the north and also to the east. That's where we could see some snow totals that would be 3 to 5 inches possible there up in parts of northeast Georgia. So that kind of shows you what we've got going on there with that winter storm warning. Now, of course, we have been tracking this storm for you all week long here at 11 Alive and doing streaming updates all week long here. And we issued a few days ago the 11 Alive Weather Impact Alert leading up to the weekend because of, number one, the cold air, but then also because of the potential for snow here during the day on Saturday. Now, this is going to go through Monday because of the cold air. It's not going to snow the whole time. The snow part is mainly overnight tonight through around lunchtime and a little bit after tomorrow before everything starts tapering off. So definitely wear extra layers all weekend long because it is just going to be frigid. And if the kids are going to be out playing in the snow, we're talking about temperatures in the 20s tomorrow, and the wind chill is going to make it feel even colder. So if they're playing in the snow, give them limits that they have to come in and warm up, and make sure they have on layers and plenty of clothes there during the day because it is just going to be a very frigid day. So this is what we need to know through the weekend. It's going to be frigid. We're generally going to see below freezing temperatures pretty much throughout the entire weekend. There may be a brief period on Sunday afternoon when we bump up to 34 degrees, maybe just for a small period there. That's not going to make everything melt when it goes up above 32, but at least maybe just a couple of hours there with temperatures above 32. Then the snow mainly on Saturday, overnight tonight while we're sleeping, and then through the morning hours tomorrow. After lunch tomorrow, the back edge of the system is going to start moving away from us, and the snow will start tapering off. The problem is we're only going to get up to 28 degrees for a high temperature tomorrow, so whatever falls is most likely going to stay there for a while because we're not going to see much melting. Now, the wind, though, is going to be in our favor to maybe get rid of some of that snow on the roads, but I do think we're going to have some slick roads around. because of that snow coming down. And it's a fluffy snow. It's not going to be a wet snow. So maybe it'll blow off the roads there at first, but I do think there'll be a lot of roads that do have some snow that'll be piling up on it. And again, 1 to 3 inches here in the metro, higher amounts over to the east. And watch for slick roads Saturday as well as into Sunday. We go down to 14 degrees Sunday morning. And with the wind, it's going to feel like it's below zero. But we will have some slick roads potentially lingering into Sunday morning, especially in those areas north and east of the city that get a lot more of those accumulations. So here's the timeline of what we're watching. What we're seeing tonight, the colder air is going to start moving in. And during the overnight hours, we'll see a few flurries starting to develop there. I'm going to show you on radar here. There are some spots in northwest Georgia already seeing some of those flurries. Snow showers will be developing overnight. They'll keep pushing into our area, and the winds are going to start whipping up. 10 to 20 mile per hour winds with gusts up to about 40 miles an hour. So it's going to be gusty out there for tonight. On Saturday, we have morning snow, and that's going to be tapering off into the afternoon hours. So the main window for snow is overnight while you're sleeping, and then early tomorrow morning to around lunchtime, and then it's going to start tapering off where the back edge moves from west to east, pushing out of our area into the afternoon. But temperatures tomorrow are only going to be in the 20s, and with the wind, it's going to feel like it's in the teens out there. Roads are going to start becoming slick and even icy in some spots. Now remember, this is not an ice storm. This is snow. We're not worried about rain coming down that freezes, but snow that comes down and then melts on the road can then refreeze and make a glaze of ice. So you've got to be really careful here tomorrow. And then going into Sunday, the precip's going to be gone. Nothing else is going to be coming from the sky, but whatever is on the ground is most likely going to be lingering into Sunday for more slick spots developing there. But we have an extreme cold warning in effect Sunday morning, as I mentioned, lows down to 14, wind chills below zero, really, really cold out there. We'll see the sunshine coming back, which is a good thing. That'll help kind of try to get rid of some of the snow or some of the icy patches around. But remember, only for a brief period Sunday afternoon, we'll see those temperatures that will go up to just above freezing. So here is the hand-drawn map of our snow forecast. And this kind of goes along with what we were showing you with the winter weather advisory to the west and then the winter storm warning for Metro Atlanta to the north and east. So on the west side, remember, that's going to be the area where we're going to see fewer impacts. There will be some snow flurries around. There will be some accumulations in spots, but in general, we're thinking most places on the west side will see less than an inch of snow there. Once you get up to 75 here, is a rough outline of where we start seeing more of those accumulations happening. If you're going from west to east, the snow accumulations would be lower on the west side, maybe up to an inch to maybe up to 3 inches here on the east side, going up toward parts of Gwinnett County. Then when you get in Gwinnett County, Forsyth County, Dawson County, over toward Oconee County, Clark County, over near Athens, parts of Walton County, that line up toward the north and east, that's when we start seeing some accumulations of 3 to maybe 5 inches of snow. And in the mountains of North Georgia, some of those amounts could be closer to 5 inches as well. And then into South Carolina, how about 6+ inches of snow there? So varying amounts of snow accumulations, not a lot on the west side, but then a lot going up toward the north and also to the east. So here's our graph model that kind of shows what we're talking about with that accumulation developing here overnight. We'll see some of that snow by 7 in the morning. Some of the accumulations on the north side trying to reach down in here to Metro Atlanta. And then through the morning hours, we see the snow hanging out longer over on the east side compared to over on the west side. And so you see here around Atlanta, it may be kind of split there, again, right along 75, where folks on to the west of 75 won't see as much. To the east of 75, that's where it progressively starts getting deeper, like North Fulton up into Gwinnett. Look at the dark blue colors there. That's talking 2 to 3 inches of snow there. And then through the day, as it snows a little bit longer there in East Georgia, some of those amounts get higher. You see some of the pink colors there in North Georgia, also not too far off from Athens, parts of Jackson County. That's where we're talking about 4 to 5 inches of snow in some spots there to the north and the east. So again, progressively deeper snow as you go from west up to the north and also to the east here. And then again, we think that the snow is going to stop falling from the sky after lunch and then we'll see those conditions still, any snow on the ground that's really not going to go anywhere anytime soon. The other big story for the weekend is the cold, and we have an extreme cold warning in effect for all of North Georgia, Metro Atlanta, and areas down to the south of us. It's going to be cold all weekend long, but the coldest part of the weekend will be Saturday night into Sunday afternoon. And then to break that down even more, Sunday morning, we're talking about temperatures down to 14 degrees, and with the wind, it's going to feel like it's 5 degrees below zero in some spots. Let's say 5 below to 5 above zero is kind of the range that we're talking about there. So really, really cold air around. Now, right now, we have clearing skies here. We have some clouds to the east of us, a few more clouds to the north. You can see how they're breaking up here in Atlanta. But look at these in North Georgia. Not only do we have some clouds here, but we're beginning to see some snow trying to shake out of those clouds in northwest Georgia. Some of that came through Dade County into Walker County. I was looking at our Lookout mountain camera a little while ago. It was too dark to be able to really see anything coming down there. But Melissa was checking on some of the weather watchers there, and they are reporting confirmation of some of that snow coming down near Chattanooga, northern parts of Walker County, potentially into Catoosa County, getting closer to Whitfield County. So that's just the beginning of some of that snow that's trying to come down. There's going to be more to the north that's going to swing into North Georgia a little bit later on. Now, it's been warm today. Temperatures made it into the mid-50s, and so that's going to help our ground temperatures and our road temperatures here during the day tomorrow, because they're still a little bit on the warm side. So when the first bit of snow comes down, it most likely will melt, but then the problem is if that melts and then the air temperatures will be below freezing, eventually that is going to freeze as well. 42 now, 37 in Canton, 33 in Blairsville. We are at freezing already up in Clayton. So tomorrow, it's 6 in the morning, it's probably going to be around 31 degrees. And then temperatures pretty much in the 20s all day long tomorrow. Look at this, around the mid-20s all day long. The better chances for snow will be early on and then diminishing, getting to around lunchtime and after, and then it's just going to get really windy here. And by 6 o'clock, we're going to be around 23 degrees. So here's the forecast track. You can see a little bit of that snow that we already have in parts of North Georgia right now, and that's just going to start building a little bit more, stretching down toward the Metro Atlanta area. 3 o'clock, showing some flurries here. Then you'll notice here some of that snow reaching up through into parts of North Georgia, and watch that area of snow, how it grows early tomorrow morning. At 7 o'clock, we'll have some snow around Metro Atlanta, a good bit of northeast Georgia covered up with snow, a few snow showers here to the west of us, but not everybody getting hit there. This is going to break up, and then we see the back edge of the snow hanging out, again, just like I said, kind of splitting Atlanta in two there through lunchtime. And then after lunch, watch the back edge of this snow shield, see how it starts moving away? And that's going to be the snow tapering off through the afternoon hours. Still at 4 o'clock, maybe some of that snow in Athens and Eatonton. That's the last bit that's going to be coming down. And then that continues to move away. And then during the evening hours on Sunday, the clouds will break up. The wind is really going to start whipping up. Just look at these arrows here coming out of Tennessee, North Georgia, sweeping down into our area Sunday morning. That's what's going to make it so cold. With, again, a low around 14, the wind making it feel even colder. Through the day on Sunday, staying breezy, staying cold, potentially getting up to 34 in the afternoon. Again, just a couple of degrees above freezing just briefly there. And then a couple more clouds coming in on Monday. Another really cold start on Monday in the 20s. By afternoon Monday, we get up into the 40s, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're going to see temperatures back to the 50s. So we'll start thawing out once we get into next week, but still a little bit below the average. But anything 50 degrees and over is going to seem just great, even though we should be around 55 for this time of year. So look at these temperatures through the weekend. Forecast low for Saturday morning is 23, but the wind chill will feel like 14. Saturday afternoon, 28 with the wind chill feeling like 10. Sunday morning, the forecast of 14 with the wind chill feeling like -1. Then Sunday afternoon, 34 for the high, but the wind chill is going to make it feel like it is 25 degrees. So a very cold weekend. You have to bundle up. Be careful. Roads could be slick, not only Saturday, but even potentially into Sunday morning with any snow that's left over there. And then really cold air through Monday morning before we start warming up just a little bit more here with temperatures around 48 Monday afternoon. Then we'll get up to 54 Tuesday, 53 on Wednesday, 48 again Thursday, then back to 53 on Friday. And we do see some rain chances coming in on Thursday. Right now, everything looks warm enough where that would be just in the form of some raindrops here. But of course, we'll keep an eye on that as we always will, but we don't think that that would be any type of winter weather event. So 11 Alive weather impact alert Saturday, Sunday, into Monday morning before we start warming up next week. Stay with us. I'll have another extended weather update for you coming up in really less than 15 minutes here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. We'll do that at the bottom of the hour at 9:30. We'll do another one at 10 and then 10:30, and then have our newscast for you tonight at 11. We hope to see you throughout the evening. It is 9:30 on Friday night. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. We are committed to give you extended weather updates here this evening at the top and bottom of each hour. Melissa Nord has been doing these since 7:30. I'll be doing these from 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30, and then at 11 o'clock we'll have our newscast. We're going to keep the radar loops going for you overnight so you can look at any time to see what's going on with weather and radar to track the snow as it's moving in from north to the south here, pushing into our area during those overnight hours. And if you've been watching us today, you know that the National Weather Service extended the winter storm warning that originally was issued for northeast Georgia. Then they extended it down into metro Atlanta when some new model data came in here. So this is what we're watching out there for right now. All of these counties that you see in that pinkish color here, really from metro Atlanta to the north up toward Fannin and Gilmer County, including parts of Murray County, that line to the east, and then also up the 85 corridor towards South Carolina, out I-20, and even south of I-20. Many areas are included in this winter storm warning. It is in these areas where we think we're going to see some snow accumulations, and some areas will have heavier accumulations than others, especially as you go progressively from Atlanta up toward the north and also to the east. That's where those snow totals are going to get deeper and deeper and deeper. Over to the west, some impacts there from winter weather, but not as many. And this is where they have a winter weather advisory for these areas of West Georgia and on down to the south of us too, toward Thomaston, Pike, Lamar County, Coweta County is in a winter weather advisory, and over toward Carroll County as well. Some impacts there with the potential for some snow to come down, some light accumulations, and there may even be some bands in parts of West Georgia where they pick up even a little bit closer to an inch or maybe even more in some spots. But the main concentration of where those accumulations are going to start coming up is roughly along 75 and northward and northeastward. Like when you get to Atlanta, on the west side of Atlanta, maybe some lighter accumulations around an inch, but then as you go up toward Gwinnett County, that could grow to 3 inches. So 1 to 3 inches here from west to east and some of those bands there, and then those higher amounts in parts of northeast Georgia. So we've been following this for you all week long, and our 11 Alive Weather Impact Team issued a weather impact alert a few days ago, preparing you for the really cold air coming in for the weekend, as well as that potential for snow. And then as we've gotten closer and closer to Saturday, we've been able to fine-tune the snow forecast a little bit more each day. So Saturday through Monday morning, that is the 11 Alive Weather Impact Alert for cold. But then within that, we do have on Saturday the snow that's going to be coming down, and that's really going to be overnight tonight, Saturday morning to around lunchtime, and then the snow is going to start tapering off and move away in the afternoon hours. But then whatever is left on the ground is going to be there for a while, because we don't even get up to freezing on a Saturday afternoon. Highs are going to be around 28 degrees. And we may just be in the mid-20s all day long. It's just going to be a cold, blustery day out there with the wind. So wear extra layers. I know the kids are going to want to get out and play in the snow in those areas that actually get snow, but you really have to bundle them up. Make them come in and take breaks too, because they're going to be trying to make snowballs, even though this white fluffy snow is going to be hard to compress into a snowball because it's going to be a dry, fluffy type snow. But they're going to be out there wanting to play in it, slide in it. But it is going to be really windy and it is going to be cold, so any exposed skin, it has the chance of getting frostbite in any prolonged duration outside. So this is what we're going to be watching. It is going to be frigid cold through the weekend. In fact, we may get through the whole weekend below freezing. Now, I do think that there might be some times Sunday afternoon where we may bump up to 34. The sun's going to be out, it's going to be bright, it's going to be trying to warm things up a little bit, but at the same time, some areas are going to have a pretty good snowpack that will keep it cold there at the surface. But just know, in a prolonged period with temperatures that are going to be at or below freezing, the main snow risk is going to be early on Saturday. Again, 1 to 3 inches of snow possible in the metro area with those higher amounts north and east of the city. And then slick roads are going to be possible at any time during the day tomorrow, increasing slickness on areas that have snow on them Saturday night, overnight, and even some of that persisting into Sunday morning. Now, the wind is going to make it feel colder out there. But the wind may also help to kind of work away at some of that snow that's on the roads and some of the ice there. But I don't think it's going to totally clear it all away. And in one way, the wind is a good thing for us because it might help work away at some of that snow on some of the surfaces. But in a bad way, it's not good because it's going to make everything feel so cold out there with the wind chill. So here's the timeline of what we're watching with this event. Tonight, we already have some areas in northwest Georgia picking up some snow flurries up toward Dade County, Walker County, Catoosa County, near Whitfield County. We already have a few snow flurries up there. Colder air arrives, but then those snow flurries to the north are going to develop into some snow showers overnight, and that's going to start pushing down into our area while we're sleeping tonight. Plus 10 to 20 mile per hour winds, and even at times gusting to 40 plus miles an hour as that cold air starts moving in here. Then Saturday, early, is the main event for the snow chance, as we'll see morning snow that'll start tapering off most likely after lunch. The back edge moves from Atlanta over toward the east throughout the afternoon, so it's just going to be tapering off from west to east here after lunchtime. Temperatures are only going to be in the 20s though. The wind is going to be strong. We're going to have wind chills in the teens and maybe even some single digits. The roads are also going to become slick and icy as we continue with this really cold air. And again, the wind might be in our favor a little bit, blowing some of that off of some of the roads. But then again, it may blow some snow off the grass into the road as well. So you have to watch for slick travel. Be very careful there Saturday night and also into Sunday morning. Whatever is left on the roads is going to be frozen on Sunday morning. We're going to be down to 14 degrees. The wind chill is going to feel like it's below zero. And this is an extreme cold warning that we're talking about. With those morning wind chills below zero, at least we're going to have some sunshine coming through on Sunday to help try to work away at some of that snowpack that is on the ground. So here's a look at what we're watching with those snow totals. I'm going to make this full screen for you so you can see that a little bit better. As I was showing you on the winter storm warning, where we have that winter weather advisory over in West Georgia, the snow amounts are going to be lower in West Georgia. And again, there may be some banding of some of those snow squalls that gives some areas more snow in West Georgia, but I don't think it's going to be very widespread accumulations in West Georgia. Then as you come from west to the east, up toward the west side of Atlanta, that's where we're going to start seeing a few more accumulations there, maybe an inch or so, and then crossing to the north and east, like up into Gwinnett County, that's where you see that range that could be from 1 to 3 inches. Then you get into North Gwinnett and up toward Dawson County and over toward Oconee County, Jackson County, Barrow County, Clark County, near Athens. From there over to Georgia and South Carolina line, many areas will be picking up between 3 and 5 inches of snow. And there in the mountains of North Georgia, maybe some of those higher amounts as well. And over to South Carolina, it's not out of the question that a lot of South Carolina could see a half a foot of snow, 6 inches of snow there in those spots. So when you're listening to me, we have been we are always try to be as specific as we can. Like last week, we were talking about the ice storm, that we would have some ice in Atlanta, but the higher amounts would be to the north and east of us. This week, we're talking about some snow in metro Atlanta, but the highest amounts, again, are going to be to the north and east of us and not as much going on over on the west side. Here's a look at the actual model data. What the map that I just showed you a moment ago was our hand-drawn data from us looking at all of the models. This is one of the models, this is the graph model that really looks a little more realistic as to what we think is going to happen. Now we see that through the overnight hours, we'll start to see some snow coming down. And as we mentioned, northwest Georgia seeing some of those spotty snow showers. And then through lunchtime, you see how Atlanta is going to be kind of split. And again, we're staying roughly along Interstate 75, lower amounts on the west side, but then higher amounts north and east, where you see the bluer colors here, where 1 to 2 inches in parts of DeKalb County, up into parts of Gwinnett County. This is as of lunchtime, but then watch through the day as that snow continues. As you get past Gwinnett here, then we see in this area here to the north and east, those snow totals getting higher, 3 to 5 inches of snow possible in those spots. So that's what we're going to be watching progressively from the west to the north and east. Those snow totals are going to get deeper and thicker. And then it is more active here for longer, and that's why northeast Georgia is going to see more of that snow because it's going to be snowing there longer. Now, the other thing that we're watching is the really cold air. It's going to be cold all weekend long. And we've been telling you that on Saturday, we don't even think we're going to get above freezing. It should be highs only in the 20s here on Saturday. And of course, with the wind, it feels even colder. But narrowing this down even more, the coldest part is going to be Saturday night, overnight into Sunday morning, up to around lunchtime on Sunday. And especially in the morning hours on Sunday, that's when we're going to get down to around 14 degrees. But the wind chill is going to feel like it's -1 or -2. And because it's going to be so cold and because we're dealing with that wind chill, the National Weather Service has issued an extreme cold warning for North Georgia, Metro Atlanta, and areas down to the south because of that really cold air. Right now, we have cleared out a bit. We have a few clouds around, some clearing up to the north of us and down to the south, a few more clouds. To the east, we have a few clouds. But here we go here in the metro area, just some of those broken clouds here that are trying to clear up. But we do have confirmation that what you're seeing up in northwest Georgia right now is actually snow coming down to the ground. Nothing really major there, but parts of Walker County, moving into Chattooga County, parts of Whitfield County. That's going to move into Gordon County and northern Floyd County. I checked the Rome camera. In fact, I think I've got that up in my slides here in just a second to show you. Rome is not getting anything there yet, but they may get some of that snow there in just a bit. And then there's more up into Tennessee, and it's this that's going to start pushing down into our area tonight with enough moisture to give us some of that snow. Blue Ridge right now is dry. We may see some of the snow developing there before it hits other spots. It will be coming in from the north to the south. Here's a look at Rome. Even though northern Floyd is trying to get in on a few of those snow flurries there, nothing has made it down to Rome yet. We do have a wind that's blowing there, though, and temperatures are falling. In fact, right now in Rome, it's 44, so still above freezing there. Dalton is 34. And then we're 42 in Atlanta, Gainesville's 42. So we actually got into the 50s today, which is really a good thing because that's kind of warming up the ground a little bit, and the roads are well above freezing too. So as these first waves of snow comes in, that would melt. But again, with temperatures at freezing all day long, then that might cause a glaze of ice. We're going to be in the 20s. We think that snow for Metro Atlanta would mainly be through 10, 11 o'clock and then start tapering off. As the back edge goes over to the east, and then windy and cold here during the day. So here's the forecast track where we have tonight a little bit of that snow trying to come in there to far north Georgia. By 3 in the morning, some of that snow in northeast Georgia edging down closer to Metro Atlanta, maybe even into parts of North Fulton here by 3 in the morning. And then by 7 in the morning, we see a better coverage of that snow around. And again, that coverage is greater over most of northeast Georgia, and a few of those spotty flurries and snow showers in parts of west Georgia, but not everybody getting hit there. Then at lunchtime, you can see Atlanta is already on the back edge of the snow shield that's going to keep moving away during the afternoon hours. So the snow for us is mainly going to be the first part of the day tomorrow, and then we will see the snow tapering off. By 4 o'clock, it's going to be generally from Athens down toward Covington, including Eatonton, and then it continues moving away. And so the snow stops falling in the afternoon hours, but it is going to be cold and it is going to be windy. Just look at those arrows coming down behind this system. That's that really cold air pushing in. That is going to make it really cold going into Sunday morning, where we're talking about those temperatures down to 14 degrees, but with the wind chill below 0. And then it stays cold during the day. Sunday afternoon, we may get just a couple of degrees above freezing for a brief period. The sunshine is going to come out. That's going to help it kind of work away at some of the snow. The air is going to be very dry. That hopefully is going to work away at some of the snow. And then temperatures up to 34. I mean, it's not going to all disappear immediately with just a little bit of time with temperatures above freezing, but at least that's going to help a little bit. And then it's going to be cold again Monday morning in the 20s, but then on Monday afternoon, we're going to start warming up just a little bit more with temperatures Monday afternoon going up to about 48 degrees. So here's a look at what we're watching with that forecast through the period. We've got the weather impact alert Saturday, Sunday into Monday morning for the cold. Saturday morning is the main snow part, and then the really cold air here for the rest of the weekend. Monday afternoon, we're back up to 48. Then Tuesday afternoon, how about 50s, mid-50s at that, at 54, 53 Wednesday. We've got a little moisture coming in Wednesday that looks like it's going to be just that, warm enough that it would be rain. low rain chance here on Thursday at 20%, back to 48, and then 53 again on Friday with that drier pattern setting up, and hopefully these temperatures staying a little bit warmer. So thanks for watching this extended update here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. I'm going to do another update in a little bit less than 15 minutes coming up at 10 o'clock, then another one at 10:30, and then our newscast tonight at 11 o'clock. And please know, we are going to be streaming throughout this entire system here. Our entire weather team is going to be in here during the day tomorrow, and we'll be streaming all day long. We're going to have live coverage on televisions as well. So if you're wanting weather information, you know where you can find it right here on 11 Alive and 11 Alive Plus. Good Friday evening. It's now 10 o'clock here as we have been doing extended weather updates throughout the night here on streaming on 11 Alive Plus. We know you're wanting some weather information here as we prepare for this system coming in tomorrow. The 11 Alive Weather Impact Team has been preparing you all week long here for this potential system coming in tomorrow. We know it's going to be cold. We also know there are going to be some areas that pick up snow. Some areas picking up more snow than others. And I'm going to break that down for you over the next 15 minutes or so as we kind of go over all of the aspects of this system. The other part of this system is not just the snow. It is going to be really cold coming up this weekend, where we have a extreme cold warning that is in effect. Now, here's a look at the winter storm warning that we have for all of these counties that you see in that pinkish color here that comes down toward Atlanta. That line to the north and also toward the southeast and over to the east, that's where we have this winter storm warning in effect. These are the areas that have the better chance of seeing some snowfall accumulations here, beginning overnight with some of the snow that's going to start moving in, and then into the morning hours here on Saturday before things start tapering off around lunchtime and after. And then over in West Georgia, these counties in purple, that's where we have a winter weather advisory. Yeah, they're going to have some winter weather in those areas, but not as impactful as what we could see here from Metro Atlanta up toward the north and also over toward the east. And some of those areas will get some good accumulations. So as we've been preparing you for this system all week long, earlier in the week, we issued an 11 Alive weather impact alert to prepare you for the really cold air that's coming in for the weekend. And then also noting that over the weekend, we may see some snow around. Through each day, we've been able to fine tune that snow threat and even the areas that look like they'll get more snow than others. So that's mainly going to be Saturday morning when we see the snow, overnight and into Saturday morning. But the cold is Saturday through Monday morning. With that really cold air that we're going to have around, we may get through the entire weekend without getting above freezing. There may be an hour or so on Sunday afternoon if we're able to make it up to 33, 34 degrees that it would briefly get above freezing, then go back below freezing Sunday night into Monday morning in the 20s, and then finally Monday afternoon we'll start warming up just a little bit more back to the 40s and start thawing out a little bit. So all weekend long, you've got to wear extra layers. If the kids are going to be out playing in the snow, if you're in one of the areas that actually gets some snow, it's going to be windy. It is going to be cold. They're going to want to stay out and play all day long, but you're going to have to really force them to take breaks to come in and warm up. And any exposed skin could be susceptible to frostbite. If they're trying to play in that snow and trying to make snowballs, even though it's going to be hard to make snowballs out of this type of dry, fluffy snow that we're expecting with this. So here's what we're watching. The big story is going to be the frigid temperatures all weekend long. As I mentioned, we may make it through the whole weekend not even getting above freezing. Maybe just a couple of hours in the afternoon on Sunday, briefly above freezing. The snow risk is mainly Saturday earlier in the day. Then the snow tapers off, but whatever snow that falls is going to stick around for a while because temperatures are not going above freezing on Saturday. We're only going to have highs in the 20s here on Saturday afternoon. And again, 1 to 3 inches possible in the metro area, higher snow amounts to the east of us. Slick areas are possible throughout the day tomorrow on roads. You've got to be really careful, maybe even lingering into Sunday morning as well. Now the snow is actually going to stop falling going in through the afternoon hours on Saturday. But since we're not getting above freezing on Saturday afternoon, any snow that falls is most likely going to stick around for a while. It's also going to be very windy, and since this is a dry, fluffy type snow, the snow might blow around a little bit and could blow off of some of the roads, but I do think that when the snow first comes down and it melts on the warmer pavement, and then with surface temperatures that are going to be above freezing, it'll freeze again, and that'll probably make a glaze of ice under some of that snow. So just be extra careful Saturday and even lingering into Sunday morning too. So the time frame is right now, we are already seeing some snow beginning in parts of north and northwest Georgia, and that's going to start pushing our way while we are sleeping tonight. The colder air is going to be pushing in. The snow showers are going to start developing overnight, and winds are going to be 10 to 20 miles an hour, gusting up to around 40 plus miles an hour at times while you're trying to sleep tonight. And then tomorrow morning, that is the main event for the snow, most likely those early morning hours up to around lunchtime for Metro Atlanta, and then a little bit after lunch over on the east side. The snow will be tapering off, we think, after lunch from west to east as it moves away. Temperatures are only going to be in the 20s, wind chills in the teens, even some single digits in the daytime hours here on Saturday. Roads are going to become slick and icy from some of that snow that comes down, originally maybe melting when it hits the warmer pavement and then freezing up once that pavement gets cold again. Then on Sunday, nothing's going to be coming down from the clouds because there won't be any clouds. The sunshine is going to return. That's going to be a good thing, but it is going to be really cold. Sunday morning, we are going to see temperatures down to about 14 degrees, but with the wind chill, it's going to feel like 1, 2 below. Some areas may even feel like it's 5 below zero because of that wind and that really cold air. And that's why we have the extreme cold warning in effect. And of course, the sunshine may help a little bit in the afternoon, as I mentioned, possibly getting up to 34 for just a brief period there in those afternoon hours. So it could still be slick here going into your Sunday. So be very careful out there. Here's a look at our hand-drawn maps here based on what we're seeing from the modeling. And we're looking at a lot of the different models, and they're differing models showing differing snow amounts. But based on what we're seeing, this is what we think is going to happen. In that area west of the city where there's that winter weather advisory, yeah, there's going to be some snow around, snow flurries. Some spots may see no accumulations. Some spots on the west side may see potentially a ½ inch or an inch of snow, depending on where some of those bands set up. Once you get closer to Atlanta, and we're saying here roughly along 75 here on the north side and on the south side, going from west to east, once you get to there, those rainfall or snowfall amounts are going to start ramping up a little bit. We're saying between 1 and 3 inches here in metro Atlanta. Those higher amounts north and east of the city, lower amounts on the west side. And then getting up into North Gwinnett, into parts of Forsyth County, Dawson County, Lumpkin County, on up into northeast Georgia, down here through areas of Walton County, Morgan County, up toward Oconee and Clark County. Those are the areas in northeast Georgia where it's going to be snowing for a longer period of time. And they'll have a little more time for that snow to pile up. 3 to 5 inches of snow possible there, maybe even into South Carolina, 6 inches of snow. Here is our in-house graph model that shows some of those amounts here. This takes us into 7 o'clock in the morning. And you see here just the spotty nature of some of the accumulations there over on the west side. But some bands of snow coming in through Atlanta that might give some spots some good amounts of snow. There may be even a wind convergence line that will enhance some bands of snow to give some narrow bands heavier snow than others. By lunchtime, the better coverage of snow with those higher amounts will be up to the north and east of us. And then after lunch, with additional snow coming down around Athens, they may have some bands of heavy snow accumulation there in some spots. But then it's all going to be ending pretty much by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But the snow on the ground isn't going to be going anywhere anytime soon. And again, those higher totals will be over to the east of us and northeast of us too. But all of us are going to be cold. No matter who gets snow or who doesn't get snow, all of us are going to be dealing with the really cold air. And we have this extreme cold warning in effect. The coldest part of the weekend is going to be Saturday night into Sunday afternoon. And really Sunday morning will be the coldest, with lows around 14 degrees. With the wind, it's going to feel like 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 degrees below zero in spots with the wind chill. So here's what we're watching right now. I've got a couple of areas here that I want to show you. We have a few clouds around metro Atlanta. Some of those are breaking up just a little bit. But then look up to the northwest. Some of these have been confirmed in northwest Georgia, a few snow flurries. Now, we're beginning to get a little burst here in parts of Clay County, North Carolina, and also into Towns County, moving into Rabun County. So some snow beginning there in parts of North Georgia. And then more of that snow is just going to start filtering down into our area during the evening hours tonight. You can see more of that in eastern Tennessee, moving into the mountains also of North Carolina. Here's a live look in Blue Ridge right now. We're not seeing any snow coming down in the Blue Ridge area right now. We're seeing some of those clouds. You see those clouds kind of moving by? Those might be some snow squalls like up in the sky that aren't actually making it down to the ground yet. But we'll be watching the Blue Ridge Tower Cam as some of the snow might be starting there first. Also, northwest Georgia, a lot of that was in Dade and Walker County seems to be drying out up there. But again, Rome may get some snow during those overnight hours. And then here in town right now, temperatures are still pretty, if you want to call it warm, but we're above freezing. We're 41 here. But up in Blairsville and Clayton, where we might see some of that snow first, temperatures are at freezing. And in Dalton in northwest Georgia, it's 33. You can still have snow coming down from the sky even with temperatures at the surface above freezing. It all depends on what that temperature is up in the upper levels there. So we've had some snow in northwest Georgia, but nothing into Rome yet. And again, these temperatures around metro Atlanta are in the lower 40s. We've got some 30s though in some of the outlying areas. Talk about cold air here for tomorrow. Look at this. In the morning at 6 o'clock, we're going to be around 31, and then generally in the 20s for the rest of the day. Most likely mid-20s for the rest of the day. Here you see the snow a little more likely through those morning hours, starting to taper off, getting closer to lunchtime. And then after lunch, it's mainly just windy and cold that we're going to be dealing with there with those temperatures in the mid-20s. So here's the forecast track. We're talking about a little bit of that snow in northwest Georgia, as well as there up in parts of northeast Georgia. And then look what happens through the overnight hours. By 3 in the morning, we're going to see some of those bands trying to reach down into North Fulton, but you see how North Georgia is going to be seeing the snow a little bit longer than we are here in metro Atlanta. There you see at 7 o'clock in the morning, a couple of snow bands possibly in northwest Georgia, nothing really major there. But notice how this snow comes down into Atlanta, and roughly there along the I-75 corridor is the cutoff, where the snow to the west of that is going to be less, the snow north and east of that is going to be more. This is the area that's going to be covered more with some of that snow. And that'll be just kind of rotating with us there through parts of the morning hours on Saturday. But again, the areas to the east of us will be seeing snow pretty much nonstop. And that's why the snow accumulation there is going to be higher. By lunchtime, a lot of this is already going to be leaving Atlanta. And then watch the back edge as it continues moving away. By 4 o'clock, still a few snow showers in Athens and over in Eatonton. But not anything going on here except for clouds. They'll be slow to break up. And then everything moves away. Clouds will be breaking up later on Saturday. And look at those arrows, all right? See how they're kind of packed together pretty tightly here? That's going to be funneling in the wind and that really cold air. I mentioned 14 degrees for a low on your Sunday morning. And with the wind chill, it is going to feel even colder out there, most likely feeling like it's below zero. And then by afternoon on Sunday, it is possible that we may briefly get up above freezing for just a short period, maybe up to about 34 degrees, but it's still going to be windy. It's still going to feel really cold. And then it gets cold again Monday morning, going down into the 20s. And then finally Monday afternoon, we're going to rebound up into the 40s. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to be in the 50s, which is going to feel like a warm spell coming in here with that ability to thaw out a little bit more here during the week. So a lot to watch through the weekend with this really cold air. Now take a look at the actual forecast temperatures versus the wind chills. We're looking like we'll get down to around 23 in the morning with the wind chill feeling like 14. Saturday at lunch, or Saturday in the afternoon, we'll get up to only 28, but feeling like 10. Sunday morning, we're down to 14, but it feels like -1. All right, that's cold. Sunday afternoon, 34, but it feels like 25 degrees with the wind chill. That's how cold it's going to be feeling out there. And it's all because of this Arctic blast sliding down into our area at the same time the Arctic air gets here. We have an upper level low bringing in a little bit of moisture. Some of that moisture also trying to be generated from that coastal low that's off to the east of us, spreading some moisture here to the north and east of us. Then you can see how we start moderating into Monday. The Arctic air kind of takes its grip off of us after the morning hours on Monday, and that's going to help us get up into the 40s and then even 50s here for the middle of the week, and another chance for some rain that'll be coming in by the end of the week, but that's only a 30% chance for showers, and we think it'll be warm enough for that to be all rain. Look at these lows: 23 Saturday, 14 Sunday, 23 Monday, and then the morning temperatures start coming up a little bit Tuesday and Wednesday. And then check out the afternoon highs: 28 for a high Saturday, 34 Sunday, 48 Monday, and there you see those 50s coming back on Tuesday and Wednesday to help us thaw out just a little bit for the middle and also the end of the week. So here's a look at that 7-day outlook where we have the weather impact alert Saturday, Sunday, and Monday because of the cold. And again, the snow is for the morning hours we're thinking on Saturday. Sunday is just going to be cold. With the wind, it's going to feel even colder. And then Monday morning, we're back to 23, and then up to about 48 Monday afternoon. 54 Tuesday, 53 Wednesday, 48 Thursday, back to 53 on Friday. So at least pretty much those afternoons staying above freezing, and even some of those morning temperatures staying above freezing for a couple of days. We do see a 40% chance for a shower on Wednesday, 20% chance on Thursday, but with that, we think temperatures will stay above freezing, and this will be mainly some showers coming in for Wednesday and also into Thursday. So thanks for watching this extended weather update on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. We'll have another one coming up at 10:30, and then our newscast at 11 o'clock. We're going to be with you throughout this entire system. We have all of our meteorologists that are going to be working here during the day tomorrow to get you through this winter weather system coming our way. I'll even be back with you on air at 6 o'clock in the morning here. So be sure to watch us then. And we'll have another update for you coming up tonight at 11 o'clock as well, right here on 11 Alive Plus. It is 10:30 on this Friday evening. We have been doing extended weather updates here on 11 Alive Plus throughout the evening hours. We've also had radar up for you so you can keep an eye on the changing weather conditions. This is going to be a really nice tool for you to have during the overnight hours to be able to look at that radar and see where the snow is coming in, where it is, where it's coming from, and where it is heading. And we'll have that here for you during the overnight hours, as well as beginning at 4 o'clock in the morning. We'll have some extended weather updates here as well with Nicole Hartford and Chesley McNeil. And then our 6 o'clock newscast will be here on 11 Alive Plus and on air, as we're going to have our entire team here during the day on Saturday to get you through this winter weather snow event coming in on Saturday morning, and then really cold as we go through the rest of the weekend. And out there right now, we do have that winter storm warning that is in effect. That comes as far west as Metro Atlanta and pretty much roughly along the 75 corridor here. That line to the north and east and south and east, all of these counties that you see kind of in that pinkish color, those are the counties that have the better chance of seeing some accumulations. Now, if you go over to the west, you see the blue counties there. That's where we have a winter weather advisory. There will be some winter weather impacts there, excuse me, but not as much as what we think we'll have from Atlanta over to the north and east. We might see some light accumulations here in West Georgia, a few snow showers, but then the better chances for accumulation are from Metro Atlanta north and also over to the east. Of course, that's where we have that winter storm warning that's in effect. Now, all week long, our 11 Alive Weather Impact Team has been preparing you for this event coming up this weekend. We've been fine-tuning the forecast for you. We've had streaming updates on 11 Alive Plus throughout the week, as well as our coverage on air. And we've been focusing on Saturday through Monday as the time frame where it's going to be really cold, but then also on Saturday morning, that's where we're going to be dealing with some of the snow around, and then cold really for the rest of the weekend. You've got to have extra layers and really bundle up, because not only is the temperature going to be cold, but the wind is going to be whipping up. And our wind chills by Sunday morning are going to go down to most likely below zero, around 1, 2, maybe even 5 degrees below zero here on Sunday morning. So on Saturday, if you're in an area that gets some snow and the kids want to go out and play in it, you have to bundle them up. Any exposed skin could be susceptible to frostbite for a long exposure time. Also, you want to bring them in to really force them to come in so that they can warm up, because that wind is just going to be biting and the air is just going to be really cold. Here's a look at the main things we're watching through the weekend. It's going to be frigid. We could get through the whole weekend where some spots don't even make it above freezing. I do think here in Atlanta that Sunday afternoon with sunshine, it may help us get up to around 34. But that would be only a couple degrees above freezing, only for a brief period here on Sunday afternoon. Then we're back below freezing in the 20s here by Monday morning. Finally, by Monday afternoon, we're in the 40s. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to go back to the 50s. So we'll begin to thaw out a little bit there. The main snow risk is on Saturday, overnight tonight into early on Saturday morning. I really think by lunchtime and after, the snow is going to be tapering off. So it's really a morning event where, again, we can see 1 to 3 inches possible in the metro area with higher amounts over to the east of us. And then slick roads at any time during the day on Saturday as that snow is coming down. And even after the snow ends, we're not going to get above freezing on Saturday. So we're not going to see any melting. The wind can help kind of work away at some of the snow. The drier air could. When the sun comes back on Sunday, that can help work away at some of that snow and dry things up on the roads. But I want you to prepare for the potential for slick roads even into Sunday possible. So please be very careful. The timeline is already going on right now. Through the nighttime hours tonight, we're watching that colder air moving in from the north. We're beginning to see some snow already in parts of northwest and north Georgia. That's just going to spread down into our area as the wind is going to start whipping up out there tonight. We're talking about 10 to 20 mile per hour wind speeds with gusts up to 40 plus miles an hour. Then, as you can see here, for the early morning hours on Saturday, the morning is when we're going to be mainly dealing with some of the snow flurries and snow showers around and snow bands, where there could be some bands that would dump even more than 3 or 4 inches of snow there. But that's going to start tapering off in the afternoon. Temperatures will be in the 20s, but with the wind, it'll feel like it's the teens. Kids have got to bundle up if they're going out to play in some of the snow. Roads are also going to become slick and icy. Then on Sunday, an extreme cold warning here, as temperatures Sunday morning are going to be around 14, but the wind chill is going to make it feel like it's below 0. There still may be some slick spots there early on Sunday morning, and we're going to see the sunshine returning, which might help kind of work away at some of that snow out there too. Here is a look at our hand-drawn maps of what we have been seeing, looking at the models, and what we are thinking based on those models, with the models being our guidance there. We think that in that area where there is a winter weather advisory in West Georgia, there will be some spots that pick up some snow, generally less than an inch. Some spots won't even have any accumulations over to the west of us. And once we get closer to Atlanta, that's where we get into the range of 1 to 3 inches. The lower amounts on the west side, the higher amounts on the northeast side of the city. Then getting up into Gwinnett County, up toward Forsyth County, Dawson County, down toward Walton County, Morgan County, that line up to the north and east, including Athens, including Gainesville. We can see many areas there picking up between 3 and 5 inches of snow, and then maybe even 6 inches over in parts of South Carolina. So progressively, as you go from west to east, those snow amounts are going to get higher and higher. So this is one of those events where if you live in West Georgia and you said, Chris, I heard you say 3 to 5 inches of snow. Remember, that's north and east. West Georgia may not get much at all. So not everybody is going to get the same amount of snow. West Georgia, not as much. Northeast Georgia will get more. In fact, here's a look at some of the computer models here. This is by noon on Saturday, showing again those lower amounts to the west of us as you get closer to Atlanta. In fact, Atlanta may be kind of split in half by 75 there. Areas to the west, not as much. Then areas to the east picking up more. Maybe a little pocket there in North Fulton, 2 to 3 inches possible there. Up toward Gwinnett County, maybe 1 to 3 inches there. But then moving on up to the east here, including Athens, there may be some snow bands that set up that give us even more heavier snow in some spots. And that might include the Athens area that could get 3, 4, 5 inches of snow there, and parts of North Georgia in the mountains potentially picking up that much too. So we have the cold weather, extreme cold warning that is in effect through the weekend. The coldest time, though, is going to be Saturday night through Sunday around lunchtime. And then really narrowing that down even more, Sunday morning around sunrise, that's when we're going to be around 14 degrees with the wind chill below 0. So all of us are in this extreme cold warning out there. Here's what we're watching. We have some clouds in North Georgia. And we've had a few clouds in metro Atlanta. Some of those are breaking up a little bit. But now we're seeing, we did have a few of those snow bands, or snow flurries up in northwest Georgia. We had confirmation of some of that coming down around Cloudland Canyon. And now we're beginning to see some of this snow here in northeast Georgia. I'm going to show you the Dahlonega camera here in just a second. I looked at it before I came on and I wasn't seeing any snow. It'll be interesting to see if we have any snow flurries that we can see in the dark there right now. But beginning to see some of that snow trying to get generated here in parts of northeast Georgia. And that's just the beginning, as that's going to be sinking down toward the south. And we have more of that up in Tennessee and in the mountains of North Carolina. This first is our camera in Blue Ridge. Not seeing anything coming down there right now in the Blue Ridge area. This is Dahlonega at the University of North Georgia. I'm going to step out and y'all can kind of see it there without me in it. It's dark. I can't really tell. If it is snowing, it's not big snowflakes there. It might just be some snow grains kind of coming down a little bit, but nothing really major coming down right now in the Dahlonega area. And in North Georgia, in Blairsville and Clayton, it's below freezing right now. Dalton is right at freezing. But get down to Canton, it's 34. Gainesville right now is 41. We're 41 here. Marietta's 39. So these temperatures still have to drop a little bit more tonight, and they will be doing that as that cold core of air moves in with some of that moisture. We think that in the morning at 6 o'clock we might be at 31, but then we fall into the 20s, and we stay in the 20s for a big part of the day. The main snow chances are early on. That starts tapering off closer to lunchtime. Then that wind kicks up, and it is going to be cold in the afternoon. So here's the forecast track. You can see some of those areas of North Georgia picking up a little bit of that snow now. And that starts getting a little better organized at 3 o'clock in the morning. And maybe some of that even extends down into North Fulton already at that time of day. And then on Saturday morning around 7 o'clock, that better coverage of snow around, a little more spotty on the west side, but from Atlanta to the north and east, that better coverage and consistency of snow. By lunchtime, the back edge already starts moving out of Atlanta. And then watch this back edge here as it keeps moving away. Before I put that into motion there, I want you to notice that northeast Georgia is getting snow for a longer time frame. And that's why those snow amounts are going to be higher there. And again, we have to watch some of those bands. You see where these winds kind of come together there? We might have some convergent zones where you get some really big snow bursts with some higher snow totals there. By 4 o'clock, you see how the back edge goes away really toward Athens, Covington, and Eatonton. And then that keeps moving out. So no additional snow falling from the sky progressively from west to the east during the afternoon hours after that band moves through. Then it just gets really cold. You see these northwest winds? That is going to usher in that really cold air that we're going to be feeling here. And the winds are going to make it feel even colder Sunday morning, as I mentioned, down to 14 with the wind chill below 0. And then in the afternoon on Sunday, we will see a good bit of sunshine. It is going to stay really breezy out there, but it's possible we could get up to 34 degrees on Sunday afternoon, just a little bit above freezing. For a brief period. That's not going to get rid of all the snow, but at least it tries to warm up a little bit. Then we go back to 23 on Monday morning, 48 Monday afternoon. So we start thawing out Monday afternoon. Then 50s on Tuesday and Wednesday, a couple showers possible on Wednesday with a high of 53. Cooling back to 48 on Thursday, then 53 again here on your Friday with dry conditions for the end of the week. So this has been an extended weather update here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. I'm ending a little bit before. I usually do these for about 15 minutes, but I'm landing a little bit early here for this one because I've got to get ready for the 11 o'clock newscast that we'll have here for you coming up at 11 o'clock right here on 11 Alive Plus, and additional updates through the night, all right, with our radar up. Nicole Hartford is going to start doing updates early in the morning here. At the top and maybe bottom of every hour. Chesley will be helping you out with that. We're going to be on air at 6 o'clock. I'll be back on air with you at 6 o'clock along with Chesley and Nicole. And we'll get you through the snow for the morning hours here on Saturday and then the really cold air for the rest of the weekend. So we'll see you back here tonight at 11 o'clock.